Because Toyota is recalling more than 120,000 Toyotas and Lexus vehicles.
We opened a failed Tundra engine ourselves. What we found inside proves Toyota lied. I've spent 20 years under these trucks, and this is the first engine failure I've seen where the official explanation doesn't match what's sitting right in front of you. Toyota blames metal debris. The bearing we pulled apart tells a completely different story. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what Toyota isn't telling owners and what it means for your truck. Last week, a 2023 Tundra came into my shop on a flatbed, 38,000 miles, twin-turbo V6. The owner said it started knocking on a Tuesday, rough idle, and by Thursday it wouldn't start at all. I pulled the pan off myself. I pulled the crank out with my own hands, and what I saw inside that engine does not match one word of what Toyota is telling owners right now. Here's the story Toyota is telling the public, the same story that's in every recall notice and every NHTSA filing. Metal shavings left inside the engine at the factory, the industry calls it swarf, get trapped against one specific part, the #1 main bearing. Under a heavy load, like towing, especially at altitude where the turbos spin harder and cylinder pressures climb, that trapped debris grinds the bearing apart until the engine loses power completely. Simple story, clean story. Easy to say to a man whose truck just died at 60 miles an hour on the highway with his family in it. I had that same bearing in my hand, scored, cooked, chewed down to bare metal, the surface heat damaged in a pattern I've seen plenty of times on starved bearings. So far, Toyota's story checks out. That part, they got right. Then, I picked up the part right next to it, and that's when I knew something was wrong. The rod bearings sit an inch away from that main bearing, on the same crankshaft, in the same engine, same oil, same pump, same galleries feeding both of them at the same time. Every single second, the engine runs. If metal debris is floating loose through that oil system, it doesn't take an exit ramp before it gets to one bearing and skip the next. It goes everywhere the oil goes. Every part downstream gets a dose of it. I looked at those rod bearings under a light. Clean, no scoring, no heat marks, no sign that anything abrasive ever passed through that oil film. That silence right there. A perfectly healthy rod bearing sitting 1 inch from a destroyed main bearing, fed by the identical oil supply. That's the sound of Toyota's story falling apart in my own 2 hands. So I asked myself the same question I want you to sit with right now. If it's debris in the oil, why does it only kill one bearing and walk right past the other one sitting in the same bath? I've been doing this 20 years. Debris doesn't pick favorites. It doesn't know the difference between a main bearing and a rod bearing. Something else is going on inside this engine, and I'm going to walk you through exactly what Toyota's own paperwork admits, because they didn't just guess at this answer. They spent almost 2 years testing it, teardown analysis, bench testing, supplier reviews, and even they couldn't make the debris story add up clean. Everything I'm about to show you isn't a theory from a forum post. It's federal recall filings, 3 separate recalls on the same engine family, and a block I tore down myself, on my own bench, with my own tools. Stay with me. Let's talk about how big this actually is, because most owners have no idea how far this goes. May 2024, first recall, roughly 102,000 Tundras and Lexus LX trucks. Toyota's line at the time, we found the bad bearing, we fixed the process going forward. November 2025, second recall, another 127,000 vehicles. Tundra, Lexus LX, Lexus GX. Same engine, same failure pattern. May 2026, third recall, 44,000 more 2024 Tundras added to the list. Added up, roughly 270,000 vehicles recalled for this exact same engine family since 2024. My rule on any engine that gets recalled 3 separate times for the identical failure. That's not a bad batch off the line. That's a bad design, and they're finding that out 1 recall at a time, on your dime, while you make the payments. Here's the part that should really worry you if you're shopping for one of these trucks today. In July 2024, Toyota rolled out a redesigned #1 main bearing along with additional cleaning steps in production. Good on paper, but new failures kept showing up in trucks built after that fix went into place. That's not my opinion. That's exactly what forced the 3rd recall in May 2026. Toyota's own 2-year investigation, teardowns just like the one I did on my bench testing, supplier reviews, all of it, concluded that engines built after the earlier recall periods, but before the improved bearing was actually installed, could still fail the exact same way. Walk away. Walk away faster from anybody who tells you this is already fixed, because Toyota's own paperwork has already proven that sentence wrong twice. So if the fix didn't fully hold, what did Toyota do next? This is the part that made my jaw drop when I read it. As of June 2026, on some of these trucks, Toyota changed the repair approach completely. Instead of pulling the engine like I did on my bench, a dealership technician holds a small microphone tool up to the block and listens to the crankshaft's resonant frequency. If it sounds right, the truck passes. No teardown, no hands inside the engine, no eyes on the bearing. A sound test and nothing more. Think about that for a second. This man's engine already failed once. Toyota's answer in some of these cases is to listen to it through a microphone and send him home. I want you to really sit with that, because this is the part of the story that made me angriest reading through it. Picture it, a $60,000 truck. The owner already lived through one blown engine, the knocking, the tow truck, the rental car while he waited. He brings it back in expecting real work, a teardown, new parts, something he can watch happen with his own eyes, the same way I let this owner watch me pull his engine apart last week. Instead, a technician holds a microphone against the block for a few minutes, nods, and hands him back the keys. That's the whole visit. No teardown, no new bearing, no paperwork proving anything physical changed. Just a pass or fail on a listening test, performed on the exact same engine that already grenaded once already. Here's why that should scare you more than the original failure ever did. Engineers and consumer advocates have pointed out plainly on the record that an acoustic test cannot catch bearing damage before it turns catastrophic. A truck can pass that microphone test sitting still in a flat, unloaded parking lot, then fail 3 weeks later, towing a trailer up a mountain grade under real load, because the test never looked inside the engine. It only listened from the outside, the same way I could stand next to a running engine and tell you it sounds fine, right up until the moment it doesn't. I've personally watched owners decide not to fix a truck because doing it right cost more than the truck was worth to them at that point. Some of these owners are about to learn that lesson the hard way, except this time it's Toyota making that same shortcut decision for them without asking and calling it a repair. And here's where the betrayal turns into real dollars, numbers you can actually feel in your pocket. The used market already figured this out on its own, even without Toyota saying a word about it publicly. One owner was offered $37,000 on a truck he paid $55,000 for roughly 2 years earlier. That's an $18,000 hit on a truck that still runs, still drives, and hasn't even failed a second time. My rule on paperwork from here forward: a full engine replacement on the vehicle history protects your resale value. A software-only pass erodes it dollar for dollar. Buyers are already asking which one a truck received before they'll even make an offer. Dealers are already lowballing the ones that only got the microphone treatment, and they know exactly why. Now let's talk about who Toyota left out of this entirely, because it's not who you'd expect. The hybrid iForce Max version of this engine is currently excluded from every one of these 3 recalls. Toyota's official position is that the hybrid system is different enough to be safe from this specific failure. Lawyers in an active class action lawsuit disagree, and their argument is simple. The hybrid shares the same core V35A engine block as the non-hybrid trucks. If the main bearing has a design weakness, sharing an engine block means sharing the risk, whether Toyota put that hybrid on the recall list or not. So what does that mean if you already own one of these hybrids, or you're about to buy one? I've also seen owner complaints where Toyota pushed back on warranty claims, declining to replace an engine unless there's evidence of certain use criteria, proof of towing, proof of heavy load. So now the owner has to prove he used his truck like a truck just to get Toyota to stand behind a defect they've already admitted to the federal government exists across the entire engine family. 20 years in this business, I've seen plenty of warranty fights. I've never seen one where the manufacturer makes the customer prove he did nothing wrong before they'll fix what Toyota's own engineers already admitted was broken from the factory. Here's the detail that tells you exactly how deep this problem really runs right now in current production. As recently as mid-2026, owners have reported metal filings sitting in the oil filters of brand new 2026 model year trucks, production built well after the supposed bearing fix. If that holds up under scrutiny, it means the contamination issue Toyota blamed from day one has not been solved, even in engines rolling off the assembly line right now, today, while you're watching this video. Let's bring this back to what actually matters if you're standing on a dealer lot this week trying to make a decision. If you're looking at a 2021 or older 5.7-liter V8 Tundra, that's the known quantity. 15 years of real-world miles behind that engine and a reputation that's still intact. The used market is already pricing that trust in. Those trucks are holding value specifically because buyers trust the old engine and don't trust the new one. If you're looking at a 2022 to 2024 non-hybrid twin-turbo V6 Tundra or a Lexus LX or GX sharing that same engine, do not settle for it's already been recalled as an answer. Pull the VIN yourself, run it through the federal database, and ask the seller in writing, was this a full physical engine replacement or was it the microphone test? That one answer changes both the safety picture and the resale math completely, and it should change what you're willing to pay. If someone hands you a brand new 2026 Tundra and tells you it's completely clear of all this, don't take their word for it either. The third recall proves failures showed up in engines built after the first supposed fix. Ask for the exact engine build date compared to the bearing redesign timeline in writing, not a model year, a build date. And one last thing, before we close this out, that I think matters more than any single number I've given you tonight. This engine replaced what the market considered one of the most bulletproof V8s ever built, a 5.7-liter that earned 15 years of trust one owner at a time. That's not a small thing to lose in a couple of bad model years. I've read owners on truck forums comparing this V6 unfavorably to other domestic V8s and saying, flat out, that Toyota needs to bring the V8 back. When a brand built on 15 years of "you'll never get stranded" needs a microphone test and a lawsuit to explain itself, that's not a stumble. That's a crack in the one thing this brand had that nobody else could touch. And I saw the proof of it myself, on my own bench, with my own hands, in an engine that was supposed to be fixed. The truck can look identical to the one that built Toyota's reputation. The history underneath it is everything. Same oil, same engine, same oil circuit, but only one bearing failed. That's not debris. That's a design Toyota doesn't want to admit to. Check your VIN before you sign anything, and get documentation in writing. Toyota isn't the only manufacturer making changes owners need to know about. GM just killed the 5.3 and the 6.2 V8. So check out this video where I show you the two replacements and why every GM owner who's seen them is speechless.